about the breakdown of the national home sales. This was recorded in late December, and this is going to be covering as our latest statistics of November home sales closed out in 2022. So now remember, this is a national video we're looking at here, and these numbers will be national compared to most videos usually break down in Houston. So these are going to be the overall trends. But if you take a look at the existing home sales averages back from where kind of COVID kind of hit, we see this kind of drop off right here, and we see it kind of pitted down to the low here at a little over 4 million home sales back in 2022. And then we had some interest rates drop, which then kind of kicked us back into high gear as the inventory went kind of crazy and people started buying up. And we saw these prices, kind of rise as more people were buying than they had over the last few years, right? So we definitely saw below average, and then we went above average home sales, and we continued through the end of 2021, kind of peaked us off. And then as interest rates the Fed started rising interest rates, we started to see the decline in home sales. And now we've kind of hit this transactional crash where we're just right now right above 4 million again. So pretty close to where we were back during COVID times of home sales. Will this trend continue? I think it will continue a little bit for the transactional crash. We've already seen the drop in interest rates a little bit. We're below currently probably 6.25, probably about average. Obviously, that's going to depend on how much money you're putting down and what your credit scores and DTIs are going to come into play. But interest rates have definitely dropped off a little bit. You can see that this is talking about the median sales price, which is a good indicator of how not the average, but the median, right kind of the middle there, the home sales. We can continue to see where it has trended up. So where if you bought your home back in, middle of COVID time, 2020, I'm sorry, around 280 something, the median, and it had gone up and up and up and got to a point where it was kind of unsustainable. And so we've seen it come back down to earth a little bit as the home starts to sit longer. People aren't getting over asking anymore. They're not pushing $50,000, $60,000 over asking, or in some cases, $100,000 over asking in certain regions of the country. So we've seen that price come back down. You can still see it's up from where it was in, middle of last year. So we're still up some, but it looks like it's kind of level. Please take a second to like and subscribe. Off there for sure. And this is really interesting here. This is the existing home sales and at the median price, so year over year change. So you can see the prices, you're getting that 15-16% appreciation just by holding the home. And that's where a lot of wealth is created, when people live in a home and their home appreciates. And so on average, we expect to see about 3 to 5% on average. So right now we're writing, as of November numbers, we're at 3.5% year over year growth rate, which is more standard what we expected to see. And so, if you knew anything about real estate before, you'd realize that these other previous years we're getting 15% year over year growth. It's just not sustainable for the long term, right? But we had that continue on for multiple months until it started calming down. We had a big turn this summertime when the interest rates really rose above 6%, and kind of knocked off this appreciation. Some of that euphoria we had been seeing had kind of gone away. The people aren't willing to overpay for homes anymore because they just can't. And here's the home sales. This is what we talk about, seeing that transactional crash in home sales we've been seeing. So, they were down a little bit starting at the beginning of the year compared to 2020 for 2021. But so at the beginning of the year, kind of was still down a little bit. And then as we got to summertime, we really started seeing those transactions crash, right? So this is not the price, this is the number of sales that happened. So we saw a 14% drop, and then a 20% drop, and then a 23% drop, a 28% drop year over year. And now we're at November seeing over a 35% drop on sales year over year. So we're seeing quite a bit of transactional crash happening here. And you can say the prices have kind of leveled off from where they were, middle of last year-ish. And we'll have to see how that plays out going forward. And this is kind of interesting to see. This is the Realtor Confidence Index. So this is just showing year over year too. So the days on market, which we see here in Houston, we're up a lot compared to, we were at 35. Now we're sitting about 48 year over year. So this is still, a national days on market. So your market might be higher than this, but on average, it used to be 18 last in November 2021, and then for November 2022, it was at 24. So you can see quite a bit of change there. So your market might see that same 30% increase in days on market. And then you see like more first-time home buyers are coming back as there's less competition, more FHA buyers probably. Still, if you're buying with cash, still a good time to buy because interest rates aren't affecting you. Seeing a little bit of distressed sales, which have doubled, but really, still not that much percentage of sales. But a little bit more off market, probably going to start coming back, but the prices for those are going to be still more realistic. I see some selling to investors. And it's kind of breaking down sales wise region. I mean, 45% of the sales in the South, compared to the rest of the other West, the Northwest and Midwest making up the rest of it. So, the sales price by price range. Now you can see, most of our home sales fall in the 200 to 500K range, and that's where we see the median price falls, obviously, in the averages. And then, below that, not very many, 25% of the market, and then, as it goes up, you get less and less home sales, right? So majority of home sales sold in that 200 to 500K range. That's not really changed much. Percentage of change from year over year, though, you can see that the $1 million plus homes are down 41% nationally, down 34% for the 750K to 1 million, and then across the board, everyone's down 30-ish%. But we've seen the biggest drop in those higher price homes because interest rates, if you're borrowing that money, so obviously it's more money you have to pay each month, and that's going to affect those kind of higher home sales. So hopefully this gives you a nice breakdown of the national, and I'll link to this below, and you can check it out and look it over yourself if you want. You always, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call, reach me or Amber, thegiffordgroup.net, and hope you found this interesting. Thanks. Check out our December update of November home sales in Houston market. Gifford Group, opening doors to new beginnings.